let's go. Hey everyone, Digital David here. Today in this video, I'm going to be checking out the BenQ Mobiuz EX2710Q gaming monitor. I did receive this product to review, but any opinion expressed in this video is strictly my own. That being said, if you're interested in this product, you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. You can see the retail box and packaging right here. Check it out. You can learn more about the product. It looks fantastic from the main image right here. I'm really excited to power this monitor up. So in case you're wondering, this is an HDRi equipped 165 Hertz, 1 millisecond response time, 144p IPS panel gaming monitor with built-in speakers. Now let's go ahead, let's open it up and look at the contents. Here are all the contents. First up, you can see we have a regulatory and safety instructions followed by our warranty. This features a 3-year warranty on parts, labor, and backlight. Then you can see we have our quick start guide right here for the EX2710Q monitor. So let's open that up to reveal our stand installation instructions and all of our different ports and I/O on here. And you can look at it from the back with some additional instructions and a QR code you can scan for help and support. Next, you can see our included cabling right here, DisplayPort cable, HDMI cable, USB cable. We have our power cord and our external power supply brick right here. So you can see the connector. Then we have our backlight cover for our cable management. You can see the base of our stand right here. Check it out. You can see how everything looks. I really like the color scheme we have going on here with the grays and the reds. It looks really sharp. Then you can see the rest of our stand. Heavy duty, it's got a lot of weight to it. And then last but not least, you can see we have the monitor itself. Let's go ahead, let's look at that in more detail. Here's the monitor up close now. Check it out, everything looks great. We got a little bit of branding right here. I'm really happy with the color and design of the back of this monitor. It looks really sharp. We have some superior sound as well. So this does feature two 2-watt speakers and one 5-watt woofer. You can see our power button, menu and control buttons right here, Kensington lock, VESA mount compatible. We have our ports and I/O down here, you can see. So power, 2 HDMI, 1 display port. We have our headphone jack and 2 USB ports. You can pay attention while we have the monitor like this to see how thick it is. We can look at it from the side too, so you get a feel for how thick this monitor is. And then we can also look at it if you want from the top. So you can see the top of the monitor right here, plenty of ventilation. We'll look at it head on with the camera too, so you can get a feel for how thick it is. A little bit of a slight curve and arch along the back, but the screen itself is not curved. You can see the screen right here, 27 inches measured diagonally, very slim bezel. It's about a fingernail's width, I'd say, for the actual bezel right here. We got the BenQ logo and branding, HDRi with an additional button right there. Now let's go ahead, let's get the stand installed. So stand installation is very simple and straightforward. First, you can see we have the base right here with one screw that we're gonna attach to the bottom of this piece. So you're just gonna line everything up like so, and then we're just gonna tighten that screw down, and you can just make it finger tight. You do not have to use a screwdriver. So here we go, you can see we just locked it in place. There we go. We now have the stand fully assembled, that simple, and now we're ready to attach it to the monitor. So just line it up at an angle like you see right here, and then just gently press it in place until it clicks in. And now we're ready to lift the monitor up. If for some reason you want to remove the stand, maybe you got your own stand you want to use, well then same thing, just repeat that step in reverse order. Press this button and remove the stand. But here we go, it just snapped in place. Now we're ready to pick it up, and you can see what the monitor looks like with the stand installed. So we do have height adjustments right here. So check it out, that's our minimum height, and you can see we're at our max tilt down. But we can also tilt it back, so you can see the flexibility we have there. And then you can see we do have some movement to pivot it to the left and to the right without actually having to physically move the stand, which is always a good thing. Now let's go ahead, let's bring it all the way up, and you can see we now have our max height adjustment right here for the monitor, but we do not have the option to fully rotate it to either change to a vertical or portrait viewing experience. We are stuck with this stand at just your typical horizontal or landscape view. I also want to point out really quickly, if we go back to laying the monitor down, I want you guys to be able to see we do have our cable management cover right here. That's just going to gently line up, and then it's just going to snap right in place. So we have plenty of room underneath, if you can see this, right here for our cables to run out. And then on the actual stand itself, you can see we can run them through here as desired. So pretty simple, straightforward to set everything up. It'll take you less than like a minute to get this fully assembled. Now let's go ahead, let's power it on and look at the menu. So we got our monitor plugged in and powered on. Let's go ahead, let's look at the menu settings right here. First up, we have our quick settings we can change. Then we can go to the full menu. You may have noticed too, we're rocking 1440p, 165 Hertz. FreeSync Premium is turned on. So a lot of settings here. First up, we have input. You can see we can choose our different scenario for each input. We're using DisplayPort right now to max out our refresh rate, and you can see it's going to help us enable FreeSync Premium. We are using G-Sync in case you're wondering with an RTX 3070. It's working great. Keep in mind this is a FreeSync monitor, but G-Sync is available since there is universal support. Here's our quick menu settings. Check it out for each scenario. Plenty of options there that you can really dive into to calibrate as needed. And you can see our color mode settings. You may be wondering, hey, we even have a dedicated HDRi button. So we have a couple different HDRi modes. That's going to be a BenQ exclusive. So you can see we have game and cinema HDRi. Basically, it builds off HDRi. And for cinema HDRi, this is going to enhance contrast and color performance, so to prevent washed out images. And for game HDRi, we get that same feature as well as some of those contrasts in our details for those darker scenes in your game. That's going to be when you're going to want to enable our game HDRi. Let's go back into the menu. Then you can see BenQ always has great eye care technology. So we have our low blue light settings we can filter out right here. And you can see our color weakness filters for red and green. Then we have our audio settings. We can adjust our volume. We have different audio modes depending on the content we're playing or consuming right here. So check that out, really neat. And then we have our mute. We can turn that on or off. And last but not least, we have our system settings. So our OSD settings, auto power off, LED indicator, our display modes, so you can see what we can work with there. Our RGB PC range, we can set that if we want. System information, so you can see current resolution and optimum resolution, HDR if it's on or off, and our model information, and we can reset everything right here. Now let's go ahead, let's dive in to some of those color modes and settings. So we got a video looping on the screen that we can watch and cycle through some of the different settings. So check this out right here. So first up for our color mode, we have custom. That's gonna have our max brightness. Then you can see sRGB. We have MBook, ePaper. This is game HDRi, followed by cinema HDRi. We'll toggle between those two really quickly, see if you can tell a difference. Then we have our display HDR. We'll toggle through those three settings. Back to display HDR. Then you can see, we'll wait for it to loop back up, but we have our FPS mode that we'll look at next, followed by RPG, racing game, and then back to custom. So here we go. This is going to be our FPS profile, followed by RPG. We'll cycle back between those two. And then we have our racing game. So you can get a feel for how they're all going to change the picture quality. You can see with the different color modes as we toggle between them. Really a cool video. I really like the HDRi for game. It looks fantastic. I feel like it's definitely a little bit brighter than even the cinema HDRi. Now let's go ahead. Let's look at those same settings again, but with a still image. So now just for fun, I paused the video at a scene that I thought would look really cool as we cycled through the different options here. So let's go ahead, let's bring it back up. You can see first we're in custom. Pay attention to, especially towards the center of the screen, you'll really see the details change. So this is custom. Now you can see sRGB as we toggle between the two. Noticeable difference, right? Check that out, pretty drastic. Then we have our MBook setting, same thing. Look at the details change between the settings. The contrast, the color, everything. Obviously, we got our ebook setting there. Here's game HDRi, followed by our cinema. So you can see how both those settings, even just with the colors, it's going to tweak them differently. So you can choose whatever one you prefer depending on what you're consuming. And then here's just our display HDR. So check that out. A noticeable difference between all three of those. So game, cinema, display. Then we have FPS. Again, that's going to tweak it. RPG, noticeable difference as we toggle between those two. And then you can see we have racing game as well. And then we're back to custom. Now you can see what it's like to browse the web with this monitor. We got YouTube pulled up. We're looking at the trending page right now. You can see everything's very fluid and responsive. Text is clear and crisp. Let's go ahead. Let's check it out with another website. Now you can see what it's like browsing The Verge, which is a popular tech blog if you're unfamiliar. You can see tons of different images, text, fonts, all that stuff right here. It's very fluid and responsive, very comfortable to look at. And again, we haven't even adjusted for the blue light. So if your eyes fatigue and you're staring at the screen all day, you'll appreciate having that option. Let's go ahead. Let's just click on an article so you can see. Again, look at the image quality. Everything displays really nicely, very sharp. So keep that in mind. Everything's in focus as you would expect. And a very responsive and fluid experience, especially at, don't forget, we're at 1440p and 165 hertz for our refresh rate. Now you can see we got the UFO test on the screen right now, so you guys get a feel for how everything looks with a high refresh rate and a high FPS value. So 165 FPS at 165 hertz. On this display, you can see that top row with the alien going by what you can expect with the image quality. Obviously, you'll notice a substantial improvement from 41 FPS and 83 FPS. It definitely makes a difference. Now we're going to measure the monitor's input lag. Now keep in mind, input lag is different than response time. This monitor has a 1 millisecond response time, MPRT. Input lag, on the other hand, is not going to measure the amount of time it takes a pixel to change from color to color as you'd expect with response time. Input lag is going to measure the amount of time it takes from a signal to get to and through the monitor, so to speak. So that's what we're doing here with our input lag test. Typically, you want to see a lower value. That's really helpful if you're gaming. That could be of importance to you. You want to have as low of lag as possible from your keyboard mouse controls to what you're seeing on the display. So let's go ahead. Let's measure it right here. That'll be the value we're after for today's test. So there we go. You can see the result that we're getting around 5 milliseconds for our input lag. I would say that's fine. You're not going to experience any real lag or anything like that with that value. Typically, the lowest I'll see here for a panel like this would be 1 millisecond, and the highest I've ever measured was around 19 milliseconds. But BenQ's monitor is definitely within the ballpark in regards to performance with input lag. Now it's time to test out the monitor speaker. So we have some Music Chef pulled up right here. Music Chef is DMCA stream safe music you can use if you're a content creator. So we're going to play a song off their latest album, Level Up, and we're going to sample the built-in speaker. So currently, with our settings, we have it to max volume, which is 50. I'll show you guys these settings. Max volume set to 50, and then we have different audio settings, so we can change the mode. So currently it's set to Pop Live. Let's go ahead, let's give it a listen. It sounds so good. We're gonna change settings now. It's literally shaking the table with bass. Well, I really like that. That might be the winner for me. Wow, I'm telling you what, I don't ever have any expectations for monitor speakers. I always say I'd rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. In this case, out of all the monitors I've ever reviewed, this is by far the best sounding speaker I've ever listened to on a monitor. Now, with that being said, are they perfect? No, nothing along those lines. There's a lot you could critique with this particular speaker, especially I'd say on the highs and the mids, but overall, compared to what you normally get with a monitor like this is mind-blowing how good it is. So again, we have two 2-watt speakers and one 5-watt woofer, which definitely is making a difference with this monitor and how everything sounds. And then we can finesse our tweaking of the sound depending on what we're doing with the monitor. All right, so first up, you can see we're playing some Fortnite right here. Check it out. We're rocking our high settings, 165 FPS at 1440p. We're using an i9 9900K and an RTX 3070. Everything's looking really nice. In case you're wondering, we're using HDRi for game. And I have the audio set to our FPS settings for our speakers. Beautiful picture quality. I can't stress that enough. I'm afraid my camera's probably not going to show it. Everything looks really nice. Got him! Let's go! Got him! I know they're here somewhere. Hey, we'll take it. Come on! Hey, he bailed me out. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Got him. Got him. Come on. Oh, good job, teammate. Got him. Got him. Now you can see we got Warzone loaded. Volume's only at 25%. Check out that image quality right there. Looks so good. Still doing HDRi. Everything looks fantastic. All right, let's see if we can get in a plane here. All right, we got a plane. I don't know. Oh, there we go. Supply box located. Oh, cool. This is awesome. So cool. Can we find anybody now? See if we can get anybody. Whoa! Can we get him? I hit him. Oh! This is amazing. Can we get him? Oh, trying. All right, we're getting some hits. No! No! All right, we're going all in. Come on! I don't know how to catch him!
Win here and you return to the battlefield. lose and your fight is over. It's time, soldier. Break up.
I survived! Let's go! Thank you! So I was gaming with the PC, but if you're wondering how does this monitor work with next-gen consoles, great question, let me tell you. So if you're using the PS5, this can support full HD 1920 1080p at 120 hertz. That's it. Now, for the next-gen Xbox consoles, whether it's the S or the X, you can get full HD, so 1920 1080p at 120 hertz, but you can also get quad HD 1440p at 120 hertz with this monitor. So now after using this monitor, let me share with you guys my final thoughts. We'll talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. Honestly, in this case, spoiler alert, there isn't any ugly to go over. I am very happy with this monitor. Ironically, the thing that stands out the most to me has nothing to do with the panel or anything along those lines. It actually has to do with the built-in speakers. I've reviewed quite a few monitors in my lifetime, and I gotta say, this is definitely the best sounding built-in monitor speakers I've ever heard. I guess that could change in the future. Anything's possible. But I'm telling you what, I've never heard anything like it coming out of a monitor. So if you don't have extra speakers or you don't like to use headphones or anything like that, you'll actually have an enjoyable experience right out of the box using the built-in speakers. And I really can never say that with monitors. Now, I always argue I'd rather have the built-in speakers and not need them than need them and not have them. In this case, we have them and I actually enjoyed them. So hats off to BenQ, fantastic audio quality. This is a feature-rich monitor too. I love having the 2 USB ports. That's great for productivity as well as for gaming. 2 HDMI ports, a display port, and we have our headphone jack. So really a well-rounded monitor. In regards to the specs, top-notch. Love 1440p and having 165 hertz. If your machine or console can handle that, you will really enjoy that gaming experience. The stand is great too. I just really like the aesthetic of everything with this monitor. For some reason, this is just my style. So if you don't like that, that's fine. That's just my own opinion. But I love the color scheme we have going on. It's just refreshing to not see a black monitor. So talking about the stand, I'm pleased with the stand quality and the features that it gives us, but I really wish it gave us the ability to rotate it to have portrait or vertical viewing. That would be a nice feature to see added in the future with maybe the next version of this monitor or maybe the next batch when they make the stand. I'd love to see that ability, especially if you're a streamer and you want to use one of these for chat or something. It'd be cool to have that be an option without having to go with a different stand. But this is VESA mount compatible, so you can swap it and mix and match with other stands if you desire. Other than that, in regards to performance, I think the biggest thing I'd want to see changed is maybe some increase in the default brightness. There's nothing wrong with it at all, but I would love to see it just boost a couple more nits. Now, I did notice in the HDR modes, it did seem like the screen got noticeably brighter, so I always liked gaming with HDRi on. And I thought at first maybe that was going to be a gimmick from BenQ, but I really enjoyed having that feature. And I think that just kind of helped make for such a solid viewing experience with this particular panel. Other than that, I don't really have much more to add. Maybe they could throw in some RGB if you guys like RGB. Typically, I never get to see it, and it's never bright enough to really cast a glow on my wall, but that would be cool if it didn't increase the price, have a little bit of RGB, something like that on the back or around the perimeter. I would love to see that incorporated. But overall, solid choice if you're looking for a great 2K monitor with 165 hertz refresh rate to game on. You will be very pleased and happy if you end up getting this monitor. Well, that concludes our video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget the product link will be in our video description below. Please go ahead, check it out, and do your shopping from there. Any purchase made through that link helps support our channel at no additional cost to you. So we're really grateful and thankful for all of your support. While you're at it, can you go ahead and hit that like button for us? And subscribe to our channel. We have new content coming out daily, and we don't want you to miss anything. Please go ahead and give us a follow online and make it a clean sweep. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord. You can message us on WeChat, check out our website, and join our free newsletter. Thank you guys so much for being here. Don't forget new content daily, and we can't wait to see you in our next video.